Hello, YouTube. This is Tyler of Tyler Revolution, the only person on this YouTube channel. So welcome. This is part 2 recording day. I recorded a previous video with audio that might not be great. I'm still going to post it even then, and so I'm trying something else out to see if the audio will be better on this third video. So technically it is a 3-part series so far on my YouTube channel, but today is the second recording of my progress thus far here on Monday. I have my internet services are down right now, so it'll be a couple of days before I can get these up. So Thursday, Friday, maybe back to back, I will be uploading these. So whether or not you need to know that, I don't know, but I figured it's not a live stream, but I can treat it a bit like a live thing, and that's a little bit more fun than just kind of pretending it's a recording. So far, actually I was doing a recording just previously, but it failed and didn't actually record, so I've kind of progressed again, kind of a fast forward, now in the 325 BC and turned 103. I have researched into, let's see where I'm at, mathematics just recently, which had a really unique quote. Unfortunately, maybe I could go back to, I can't remember the quote. I know the person it came from. The quote was from Shakuntala Devi. Was born November 4th, 1929, died April 21st, 2013. She was an Indian writer and a mental calculator, they call her, popularly known as the human computer. Her talent earned her a place in the 1982 edition of the Guinness Book of World Records. She was born in Bangalore, Madras Province, British India, and died Bengaluru, Karnataka, India. She wrote a number of books, including novels, as well as text about mathematics, puzzles, and astrology. She also wrote the book The World of Homosexuals, which is considered the first study of homosexuality in India. She treated it in an understanding light and considered a pioneer in the field, according to Wikipedia. As previously mentioned, I'm not delving too much into academic research, just kind of looking at Wikipedia of some of these individuals, of these quotes, and even great people that I don't know much about. But that is really, really interesting. I'm not getting into all the much computing. I'm not a mathematic historian or anything like that. And then getting into numbers is beyond me. But I would hope, and I'd like to really read her books and know more about her. And if anyone has read anything and you see this video, please comment. Please send me some knowledge my way, because I don't know much. But anyway, that's mathematics. And we'll look at my next research soon. Civics-wise, I haven't really gone anywhere different, I think. I'm working on defensive tactics at this moment. And that's where I'm at. Nothing else is going on. I finally reached my settler here, which I'm excited about. That drives a wedge between China and India, and that'll be a little bit fun to see what happens. Because they're both probably going to be really, really upset with me. Don't think they're going to start a war or anything, but they're really going to, I'm guaranteeing you they're going to come talk to me. But I'm going to found my city. So you can already look at it. That's my history reel. This kind of thing that I've noticed upon the 575 BC, the rulers of Hong Kong bowed to England, who became their first suzerain in the world. And now 325 BC, I found it. my new land. So the bureaucrats of India are piqued by our boldness in settling Birmingham so near their own city of Calcutta. And before, iron was merely a curiosity of scholars. Now our swordsman wields it as a weapon for the first time in the world. So I just finished the research into iron. So Birmingham, um, this is England. We have a Birmingham here in the United States that is certainly very well known too. But Birmingham in England is a city and metropolitan borough in the West Midlands of England with an estimated population right now of, well, it may have grown now, but it's 1.1 million as of 2014. The second most populous city in the United States. Shit. The United Kingdom. I'm very sorry for anybody who views this from the United Kingdom. And of course, you guys know this is Wikipedia. This is not current. I don't know what current, so I'm not going to know the current state of affairs in the United Kingdom. So I'm going to start new research, which I'm going to do engineering. Engineering is very important in anything. I choose my production for Birmingham, which I will choose granary. And then obviously must be another outlet to the ocean if I can build a dockyard, so good move by me. Only problem is I need to kind of get this growing. And I'm starting to look a bit like, England. Just, the places are not not in the right order. But you see it. That's a little bit. Okay. Unit needs order. Swordsman. Gonna keep him there. Like I said, I'm not keen on exploring too much. I guess I will actually, since this has a city wall. I'm gonna upgrade him to the swordsman real quick, and maybe send him out on a retreat or experience or something. I don't know what's next. So he says, your people settle too close. You should consider seeking lands elsewhere. I got 3 options. I can ignore those requests. I can just be belligerent. And apologies, I will look elsewhere in the future. To be honest, I will look elsewhere in the future. So this is just one of those things. You have to be diplomatic sometimes. Doesn't mean they don't get mad at you or try to start wars with you, but I needed to do something there. I can't really go too much further east anyway. So west is probably where I'm going to be heading for future settlements, even across the desert there. Alright, so next turn. These 2 still won't go away. I've had issues with those. I guess it's a glitch. I'm not going to deal with it. This is going to be there. Army had been targeted for a declaration of war by Hatsua. So Hatsua going off to declare war. Also previously, India declared war on Arabia. So those 2 are battling out. I don't know how. I haven't, seen anyone do anything. I guess it looks like Sana'a is being sieged from what that looks like, the way their fortifications look. Gotta be careful. India has notoriously been kind of aggressive in civilization games. Kind of been a meme. However, that even was with Gandhi as the ruler of the civilization. This time it's Chandragupta. And once again, I'm not a pronunciation person. I'm not trying to make fun or anything like that. I hope that's close. I hope the pronunciations are close enough. Someone correct me or throw bricks at me. I don't know. I try to be cultured and try to know this stuff, but I'm not the king so. Little red marker, the suzerain status lost after a shift in envoys. You are no longer the suzerain of the Zanzibar city-state. To be honest, I didn't know I was to begin with. And the other thing I haven't mentioned in videos is you look up here, it shows you the strategic resources that you have, and these are probably the most important resources. Actually, they are the most important resources. Primarily, these are the resources you need to progress in terms of research and in terms of building and in terms of even military. Horses, you got horseback riders, cavalry, and things like that. Iron for steel and building, and even like I said, structures and things like that. You'll unlock a lot of strategic strategy, strategic resources. Some of them you hope that they just show up in your land and you can mine them or drill for them or husbandry them immediately without having to go too far or do anything. Some you have to kind of go colonize, um, do some imperialistic work. I don't really do too much imperialistic work. I don't go and battle anyone for resources. I do just try to get there first. If that's close enough, I guess, to with colonization. Really, that's what I try to do is just colonize. Um, Give me 1 second. So yeah, so that's that part, and I haven't ever look at the reports. So here are the reports. Those are yields. Those are resources, city state status. Haven't really. I don't think I've actually ever looked at these on this civilization. Um, Nope. Sorry about that. If you hear that, which you probably did. This concern was something I was kind of distracted. I'm sorry for getting distracted temporarily in the middle of this recording. Um, Once again, sorry. Dealing with real life stuff in the middle of this recording, kind of annoying. Warner completed, I meant, so negotiated peace. Hatsua has made peace with Saladin. I'm gonna look at, see what the diplomatic trades are. We're neutral with each other. I'll send a delegation to China. What was they doing? Make a deal, look and see what they got. And they have wells, and I have sugar. See what they want for Hey, don't sigh at me. What would it take? None of my people have clamored for wells yet, so I'm not gonna freak out about it. Saladin, neutral course as well. See what they. I think I looked at this before. They have gypsum, incense, and turtles. They got turtles. How's the luxury resource? What they got for furs? They cannot. I got an offer blocking that deal. What would it take for some incense? I think mainly I'd have it done because I could do 12 gold per turn, but I'm at 16 gold per turn for my civilization, and I don't think I'm ready for that yet. That's the one thing. Gotta be always booming economically in this game, in case you need to build anything. To be honest, I'm gonna look at and sometimes you can purchase with faith, so I can I can purchase a cathedral. I built a cathedral in my holy district. That took a lot of my faith, so you can do that. And sometimes that's good. I mean, I like to get some of those buildings built like that if I can. So next turn. Currently, I'm also at 45 on 48 in the era score, so hopefully I can. How can you let those barbarians run amok so close to your home? I don't see any barbarians, so what do you mean? I haven't been attacked by any barbarians lately anyway. Excuse me. So next is to choose production in Leeds, and I will go with you know what? I'm actually going to go with another settler, even though it's not recommended. Once again, I like to build a lot of cities. I like to get it because you got to get influence, you got to get land, you got to get resources. It's just how it is. So building settlers is important to me. Um, so next turn there. Yeah, I mean, I've been known to like build like 30 cities. I mean, it's something that I feel like I have to do. And doesn't necessarily go by the way. Nothing else goes by the wayside. You have such a long time, especially in epic games or things like that. But yeah, so I like to build cities, get my land, get the things I need, and then kind of build up. Because if you don't build cities and people, right now, not a lot of people, not a lot of civilizations have been exploring the western side over here. or settling. And so it's sort of one of those things where you have to kind of, you kind of have to do. So that's what I'm doing. I'm going to send my swordsman out this way in case there doesn't seem to be any barbarians over there. The good thing about having city-states over there and kind of being friends with them, they can open up that map and kind of show you, and they often would take on barbarians too. So I'll send my swordsman that way first to see what happens, see if I do discover anything, and then maybe make him into a scout. And apparently, he is unhappy with me. I don't know what I did to him. It might be because I settled that city. I settled Birmingham close to, and that happens sometimes too. They get furious. Like I said earlier, they get kind of angry with you. The other thing that occasionally pops up depending on what you're doing.
Normal people believe that if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Engineers believe that if it ain't broke, it doesn't have enough features yet.
Yeah, so just unlocked engineering, which gives me the ability to build an aqueduct and a catapult. If this is the right Scott Adams, which I hope it is, Scott Adams is actually the creator of the Dilbert comic strip and the author of several nonfiction works of satire, commentary, and business. I imagine that's who it is. I don't really, don't know much about it. I've never read Dilbert, and I haven't read any. I know of Dilbert, and I'll probably come across it, of course. Maybe, maybe read it a few times. I'm not sure. I don't remember things sometimes. But yeah, so I don't know much about that. Scott Adams still alive, 61. Born in Windham, New York. Um, some of the publications he's had, you got the Dilbert compilations and things like that. And yeah, so, and some non-Dilbert publications, Gods to Breathe, The Religion War, another 2001, 2004 respectively. Stick to Drawing Comics, Monkey Brain, Cartoonist Ignores Helpful Advice, that was 2007. How to Fail at Almost Everything and Still Win Big, Kind of the Story of My Life, 2013. Win Bigly, Persuasion in the World Where Facts Don't Matter, 2017. It's basically Adams' theory on Trump's victory in the United States presidential election 2016, that Donald Trump is a master persuader, and Trump's deep understanding of persuasion and the human mind caused Donald Trump to win. So that is the point of that book. So that's what he's been doing very recently. So finished engineering. Time to choose a new research, and I will go with shipbuilding because that is what is advised to me by my advisor. I got 3 turns before defensive tactics are researched. Next turn. and housing, and Stoke-upon-Trent needs more housing. Yeah, I know. So I'm going to do something a little bit cheeky, as it were. I'm going to go to Birmingham, purchase tiles. I'm actually going to spend the money, purchase that tile, and basically block them off from kind of going across here, because I don't have open borders with them, so it keeps them from coming over. And I'll probably, I think I'm going to go over here and purchase this one to get a little bit closer to connecting the territory there. So done that, and I'm going to go to next turn. Strategic purchases, got to do it sometimes to make sure you don't want them to don't want anyone to come over and take it. The only other thing that sucks about, let me see, so they could have, and they still could technically come in and settle here, but Indian missionaries, you can set missionaries out. Classical era ends in 10 turns. Sort of a pain in the butt because obviously you want your country to be your religion that you founded, and Catholicism is losing its grip, and you can actually talk about strategy, map options, and see how it is. So talking about conversion of there, I just haven't had and you have to go out there sometimes, and other times you want to maintain it, is purchase it, but I don't have enough faith. Oh, I do have enough for a missionary to be built, or to be produced. I guess I didn't build them. The next turn. Because sometimes you have to go out there and kind of amplify the religion, of course, which is difficult work. I don't often play the religious war part of this because you can win via religious means, and the computer's a little bit better at that than I am. They send out tons and tons of missionaries. I kind of
defense is superior to opulence.
So that's an easy one for me, and for most, I think, actually. Everyone knows, I think, who Adam Smith is. That's a very common name. Very well-known figure in history. Adam Smith, of course. I'm not quite sure when he was born, but knows he died in July 1790 in Edinburgh, Scotland. He is a school of classical economics and classical liberalism. Via Wikipedia, influenced by Aristotle, Hume, Hutcheson, Mandeville, Quesnay, Rousseau, Locke, Burke, and Voltaire. I would probably tell you those might be his influences, but he reads, often more like influence of Locke and Aristotle and Voltaire. But that's who his influences are. Who he's influenced: Bastiat, Milton Friedman, Hayek, Mises, Rothbard, Ayn Rand, even Paul Krugman to a part, Thomas Sowell, Hegel for a little bit, Marx to a little bit, Frederick Keynes. No, not Frederick Keynes, sorry. John Maynard Keynes. I was thinking of Hayek again. A lot of people are influenced by Adam Smith, either positively or towards his direction and things like that. He was a Scottish economist, philosopher, and author, as well as a moral philosopher, a pioneer of political economy, and a key figure during the Scottish Enlightenment era. Smith is best known for his two classic works, An Inquiry into the Nature and Causes of the Wealth of Nations. Most people just refer that to as The Wealth of Nations. That was written in 1776, and then Theory of Moral Sentiments in 1759. Wealth of Nations is considered his magnum opus and the first modern work of economics. This is Wikipedia. Smith laid the foundations of classical free market economic theory. The Wealth of Nations was a precursor to the modern academic discipline of economics. In this and other works, he developed the concept of the division of labor and expounded upon how rational self-interest and competition can lead to economic prosperity. Smith was controversial in his own day, and his general approach and writing style were often satirized by Tory writers in the moralizing edition of William Hogarth and Jonathan Swift. In 2005, The Wealth of Nations was named among the 100 best Scottish books of all time. The Minor Planet 12838 Adam Smith was named in his memory. And once again, I'm not here to politicize anything, but that's Adam Smith. We know about him, really sort of the grandfather of capitalism, though it wasn't called that. Really, a lot of people give Adam Smith is the credit of kind of helping in mercantilism, which even post Adam Smith existed. And like I said, we're not going to get into that. You can find it out in the comments if you watch this later or something. We all have our own views of everything, and that's it. So, I'm trying to be kind of apolitical here, or whatever. I'm not going to espouse anything. Just what Wikipedia tells me. And once again, this is sort of like a constant disclaimer. I'm not in the set yet of doing these YouTube videos to have deep, academically researched things, or factoids about this stuff. Maybe one day when I get an idea of how much to research for, which would maybe be infinite. And Civilization does a pretty good job of showing a lot of that stuff anyway, so you don't sometimes have to. But I like to see these quotes pop up, and if there's someone we haven't come across or something like that, or just to put them out there if no one knows. And that's the point of what I'm trying to do here, is just put out information, even simple stuff. Sometimes starting at the simple stuff is the best thing. We'll change policies, maybe. Unlock limes, 100% production toward defensive buildings, and bastions, 6 city defense strength, 5 city range strength. And that can be pretty cool sometimes and be useful later on, maybe, if I need it. But I'm not going to use it yet. So I'm going to come over here. I want my city to be Catholic. And I want to do definitely influence. So my next thing, I'm actually going to research specific of civil service. And I got a new governor. I can either appoint a governor or, promote. I'm going to promote again. I'm actually going to promote Raina, the financier. I'm going to do foreign exchange and confirm that. I'll go back. And I'm actually going to reassign Amani, the diplomat, to maybe Birmingham, since it's closer to all the stuff. Maybe give them more. So that's how that goes. Sometimes you gotta maneuver your governors. I'm gonna close up and look at my cities. There's London in its glory. You got the Stonehenge over here. You got the pyramids over here. The Oracle is a few turns away from finishing. There's Stoke-upon-Trent. Over here, my little town of Birmingham, and of course Leeds up here looking pretty good. And classical era ends in 8 turns. Oh, now back in London, nothing going on. Well, next turn it. Missionary coming up here. Just gonna spread some so my trader's back from, I believe, Buenos Aires, and I'm actually going to send him to Birmingham and build that connection. Got to. I'll begin that route. The other thing you notice up here, I have a two trade route capacity. I have to build a trader that grows, and you can have tons and tons of traders. So these is now got the dominant religion of Catholicism, not Catholicism. Sometimes I am an idiot. Little wide view here. There's my swordsman, you see. Almost finished with my next settler to send out west here. If I'm going to do another southern, I may actually do my southern settler here if I'm interested in doing that, which I might. Another desert town. Prevent anyone from...
I sprang upon the swift ship in the form of a dolphin. Pray to me as Apollo Delphinius. Also the altar itself shall be called Delphinius and overlooked forever.
So that was a quote by Homer, and I think all my viewers, potential viewers and listeners, will know who Homer is. I think that's, I mean, almost the Odyssey is almost literally required reading in high school. So for anyone, like I said, but I have not done Homer yet, and I'm trying to make it kind of consistent. I didn't do it with Shakespeare. I feel kind of sad about that. I should have. But trying to be consistent here. So Homer, if for some reason you don't know, is the legendary author of the Iliad and the Odyssey, which are two epic poems that are essential works of ancient Greek literature. The Iliad is set during the Trojan War, the 10-year siege of the city of Troy by a coalition of Greek kingdoms. It focuses on a quarrel between King Agamemnon and warrior Achilles, lasting a few weeks during the last year of the war. The Odyssey focuses on the journey home of Odysseus, king of Ithaca, after the fall of Troy. The one thing we know about Homer is we don't know anything about Homer. And this is all Wikipedia, so Wikipedia makes note. Many accounts of Homer's life circulated in classical antiquity, the most widespread being that he was a blind bard from Ionia, a region of central coastal Anatolia and present-day Turkey. Modern scholars consider him legends. The Homeric question, concerning by whom, when, where, and under what circumstances the Iliad and Odyssey were composed, continues to be debated. Broadly speaking, modern scholarly opinion falls into two groups. One holds that most of the Iliad and, according to some, the Odyssey are the works of a single poet of genius. The other considers the Homeric poems to be the result of a process of working and reworking by many contributors, and that Homer is best seen as a label for an entire tradition. It is generally accepted that the poems were composed at some point around the late 8th century or early 7th century BC. The poems are in Homeric Greek, also known as Epic Greek, a literary language which shows a mixture of features of the Ionic and Aeolic dialects from different centuries. The predominant influence is Eastern Ionic. Most researchers believe that the poems were originally transmitted orally. So that's sort of the interesting thing about Homer. No one knows anything. They have a section on Wikipedia about the ancient biographies of Homer's. Excuse me. Ancient biographies of Homer. Things like that. I don't know much about Homer. I've read both the Odyssey and the Iliad. Recently got a new copy of the Odyssey thanks to a wonderful Christmas present from my girlfriend. Haven't sat down to read that yet, but I will. I love epic poems and epic works like that, especially. And one of the reasons why I really got into Homer, one, I did read the Odyssey in high school, but I actually read Dante's Inferno in 8th grade. Wasn't a school project or anything. Of course not. It's 8th grade. I don't remember how I got into wanting to read Dante. I couldn't even begin to tell you in what world that started. It might have been Devil May Cry. But I don't think it was that. It might have been a movie of something. Because I mean, the first one was 2001, so it might have been that. I might have gotten into it because August 23rd, 2001, when Devil May Cry 1 came out. And I was starting, should have been starting 8th grade, then in Knoxville, Tennessee. I would have been 13. So that might have started. I might have picked up the game and was like, ooh, Dante and all this stuff, and then decided to read the actual Inferno. Probably the correlation, because I played a lot of video games then, just as I do now. So there you go, and that's probably how I got into it. That's probably how I got interested into it. But I ended up reading in 8th grade. Met my past roommate, one of my friends, because he saw me reading it. I actually know who. That was the Robert Hollander translation of the Inferno, which I think had just come out. He's a well-known expert in Dante and Cambridge. Him and his wife translated the Divine Comedy, and that was the first segment that came out. Was the Inferno, of course, and it was beautiful. I read it so much, and I remember then I understood it, and it wasn't because necessarily that I understood what was going on just by reading the poem. The book has an amazing set of annotations and endnotes and goes by almost line by line to tell you what was going on, what was meant, what he might have meant, Dante might have meant. And it's fascinating, and I later on, maybe, boy, 10, 12 years after that, I finally got my hands, I had lost that copy, I don't know where it went. I'd gotten John Ciardi's translation, and Mark Musa I once read from a library checkout, which I remember that library checkout because I checked out that and Atlas Shrugged by Ayn Rand for the first time ever. Didn't read any of it. I checked it out, didn't read any of it. I think I read part of Mark Musa's Divine Comedy translation. I think I read actually the whole Vita Nuova by Dante from his translation. Read a little bit of Atlas Shrugged then. I don't know how I got into Atlas Shrugged at that point. I think I was 15 maybe. But it wouldn't be for another few years when I actually bought The Fountainhead by Ayn Rand that I really got into her. So some of my influences in my life, Dante and Ayn Rand. You couldn't get two further points. But yeah, so that's sort of a history about me. If you were strangely curious about me at all, so I'm gonna go look at this. Why he's upset with me. He's unfriendly. View the gossip. Some older. He hasn't done anything with me. So unknown reasons why he hates me. I'm gonna send a delegation his way. Maybe he'll. Let me not. I'm gonna make a deal with him. See if. Yeah, I can't do truffles. I understand. Maybe we'll do some gypsum together. What would you take? I'll take. I'll do that. See if we can build a rapport. Do a trade deal. I can do some trading. Let's see if there's anything. I'm gonna worry about that. Because I'm gonna head to Jerusalem and see if I can spread a little bit of Catholicism his way. So choose production in London, and I am actually going to do. Let's see, Warlord's Throne. So you get Government Plaza. You have to build. You can build several things. So audience chamber, 1+ amenity and 4+ housing in cities with governors, -2 loyalties in cities without governors. And you can do ancestral hall. 50% increased production towards settlers. New cities receive a free builder. And Warlord's Throne, capturing an enemy. So I'm actually going to do Ancestral Hall and build that real quick. And you'll kind of build new government buildings and through the eras and through the time stairs. So, and that's interesting. And that's finally connected. I didn't have to do that. Settlers almost finished here. My missionary is heading, and that'll be next turn. My settler has been built. See if it gives me any locations built. It actually asked me to build here, and I'm not going to do that. But what I might do is, you see these greens are good areas to build in. You can actually get a water availability guide down here. The first water's here, got some water available here, but I need to push west. So I'm actually going to send him maybe out this way and get this area here to stay close to my locale. Choosing production of leads again, and I'm actually going to go with I will build a holy spot here. This one, it's kind of hard for me to want to do it there. That's +4, but +5 here. That's milk, and I don't want to take away that potential resource. I have milk over here. That's true. But we have a rainforest here, and I think that'll be fine. This also be good for research. This could be good for research, so it's kind of a tough choice. I actually may save that for later and build a research science district over there. Sorry, cows. So for now, I'm going to build it over here. I'll remove the rainforest and build my... And building it against wonders, mountains, especially wonders, the religious, the holy sites do best, I believe so. Or natural wonders and things like that. And science districts, or research districts do really good against mountains as well, which is why that's why I'm saving that. So we'll go to next turn. Once again, my oracle standing tall and proud there. The oracle, anyway. The only thing I haven't done is done a historical background on my wonders. Maybe in the next video I'll go through them real quick. And by the way, it is now 25 AD. So we've crossed over to war, present time almost, to modern times. Within the last 2,000 years. Okay, give me a break. Yeah, so I'm going to use my last missionary religious spread over here. I'm not gonna do a big deal. They are Indian. They're part of the Hindu. It will take a big push to make them Catholic, and I'll probably start produce another missionary and send them that way. Part of the reason why I do that is to certainly I want to. You have to convert. That's part of the game. You have to go to cities. You have to spread your religion. That's what is frustrating. But you look at me. It converts to Hindu in 108 turns. That may or may not happen, but that depends on. You see the missionary right here coming my way. He may come back and cut that. And you look over here. You can actually get a bigger breakdown. If that is there, they've got +8 on the incoming pressure and things like that, outgoing pressure. So you have all these pressures, and it's kind of interesting. And London is pressuring, and Leeds is pressuring, and they're pressuring back, and they're pressuring. They're not really doing a lot of pressuring here, and you just have to be careful because you don't want, if you found the religion, if you don't found the religion, you're not a big. It doesn't matter as much, but you usually do found a religion. And like I said, I don't try to win that way. I have not tried to win that way yet. It might be a way future doings, but I found it's very difficult to produce constantly the amount of missionaries and apostles and things like that to make a difference, to really spread, because it just gets hard. I mean, you think you put your line with faith, apostle, guru, things like that. Next turn. So once this era ends, I'm going to call the end of this recording as well, and that'll be part 2 of the Monday recordings to be uploaded later, and yeah, so we'll get there. China is expanding, adding a new settlement, Guangzhou. Once again, pronunciations aren't my thing. Sorry. Maybe one day there'll be like a reaction to my YouTube video that says, learn how to pronunciate shit. Well, I'm trying, man. I'm trying. So classical era. Earn ends in 3 turns. Oh. Interesting. And Hong Kong, I'm no longer the... I haven't got any more envoys, I'm sorry. Other ones I sent them to belongs fully to Hong Kong. And he has declared... I've been targeted for a declaration of war by Zanzibar. Interesting. Don't know who Zanzibar full loyalty begins. Maybe with Zanzibar.
Grace, if I may, I think it is time that we begin exploring what is beyond our shores. It may be that our land units would be fit for this opportunity.
So that's interesting, yeah.
I cannot imagine any condition which would cause a ship to founder. Modern shipbuilding has gone beyond that.
So that is Captain E.J. Smith. And if you notice what that says, right beside it, he was the captain of the RMS Titanic. So a lot of people who've seen the movie Titanic, got infatuated with it. This is obvious stuff. I mean, this is stuff we know. Edward John Smith was his name. That's what the E.J. He was born on January 27th, 1850. Died April 15th, 1912. He was a British merchant navy officer. He served as master of numerous White Star Line vessels. Of course, he is best known as the captain of the RMS Titanic, who perished when the ship sank on his maiden voyage. He was born in Hanley, Staffordshire, England, which we had a little bit of interesting note about Hanley in the last video. Stuck-upon-Trent is part of that area. Let's see, he was a commander in the Royal Navy, in the R&R. In the Royal Navy Reserve. Yeah, so that's the little bit of, I guess, a little bit of blurb about the captain of the Titanic. He successfully commanded the Baltic, Adriatic, and the Olympic. And then in 1912, he was the captain of the maiden voyage of the Titanic. So, the unfortunate Captain E.J. Smith. But unlike shipbuilding, and the cool thing about, I don't know if it was in Civilization 5 as well. I have it, I think it is. So previously, and it may not be, previously if you wanted to go across water, oceans, and things like that, you had to build a ship. And if you wanted to put your, to send people over, you had to put them on the ship and send them. You can only kind of cross water, like small bodies of water, with military units and things like that. I think I can't remember, but on this game, on this Civilization 6, instead of having to load up a bunch of military units and settlers or things like that on another ship, on a ship, they can actually just cross the bodies of water by themselves. So really, the only thing I think are aircraft carriers where you can load up bombers and jets to send them over. But otherwise, the settler can cross by itself. The only thing you run the risk of is obviously those units don't have a lot of defense against, say, actual warships. So do have to be careful. Choose research, and I will go with construction. And then choose production in Stoke-on-Trent, and make a granary. Next turn. Interestingly enough, we're getting around that time in the turns, 75 AD, where London actually, was founded around right before that time. So the classical era ends in one turn. But sometimes the thing it does is it doesn't always give you the best place, like it does here, and I could certainly found it there. But I'm trying to get kind of further west, like I said. So I am going to stage it. I am going to settle right here between the... You get it at 100 AD. The inspirational site of Mount Raramia fills the citizens of a new city of Bristol with joy. So we have settled Bristol. And we'll look at that a little bit. Bristol is a city and county in southwest England with a population of 459,300 people. The wider district is the 10th largest population in England. The urban area population of 724,000 is the 8th largest in the UK. The city borders North Somerset and South Gloucestershire, with the cities of Bath and Gloucester to the southeast. Once again, if you're from the United Kingdom, I'm sorry about the pronunciations. I'm American. I'm sorry. The Royal Charter of Bristol was actually created in 1155. The county status was 1373. So that gives you an idea of how early we actually are in terms of founding Bristol, but we're much closer than, say, London, which... so just a little background on the founding and creation of Bristol. The actual history of how or why I got founded, I'm not going into, because Wikipedia doesn't really... I mean, it might go into that a little bit. I mean... Wikipedia says, archaeological finds, including flint tools believed to be between 300,000 and 126,000 years old, made with the Levallois technique, indicate the presence of Neanderthals in the Shire, Hampton, and St. Anne's area of Bristol during the Middle Paleolithic. Iron Age hill forts near the city are at Leigh Woods and Clifton Down, on the side of the Avon Gorge, and on King's Weston Hill near Henbury. A Roman settlement, Abona, existed at what is now Sea Mills, connected to Bath by a Roman road. Another was at the present-day Inns Court. Isolated Roman villas and small forts and settlements were also scattered throughout the area. Bristol was founded by year 1000. By about 1020, it was a trading center with a mint producing silver pennies bearing its name. By 1067, Brixton was a well-fortified burh, and that year the townsmen beat off a raiding party from Ireland led by 3 of Harold Godwin's sons. Under Norman rule, the town had one of the strongest castles in southern England. Bristol was the place of exile for Diarmait Mac Machada, the Irish king of Leinster, after being overthrown. These pronunciations, man, are going to kill me. The Bristol merchants subsequently played a prominent role in funding Richard Strongbow de Clare and the Norman invasion of Ireland. The port developed in the 11th century around the confluence of the rivers Frome and Avon, adjacent to the Bristol Bridge, just outside the town halls. By the 12th century, Bristol was an important port, handling much of England's trade with Ireland, including slaves. There was also an important Jewish community in Bristol from the late 12th century through the late 13th century, when all the Jews were expelled from England. The stone bridge, built in 1247, was replaced by the current bridge during the 1760s. So that's just Wikipedia. Not doing anything else. Look at it. By the 14th century, Bristol, York, and Norwich were England's largest medieval towns after London. 1/3 to 1/2 of the population died in the Black Death of 1348 and 49, which checked population growth, and its population remained between 10,000 and 12,000 for most of the 15th and 16th centuries. So there you go, a little background on the history of Bristol. That I didn't know, of course, I don't know, and maybe some of you don't know. Yeah. I'm going to choose production of Bristol, and we're going to start with a granary, and we'll go next turn. Mr. Saladin says, "Our poets and philosophers hold up your civilization as the light and of the world, and I must agree with them." Thank you, Saladin. I very much appreciate that. Great news. Our accomplishments have propelled our civilization into a golden age. During this time, our civilization will be stronger and more loyal than ever. And then you can make a dedication. I'm in a golden age. You are in a golden age during the game era. Each of your citizens exerts 1.5 loyalty pressure in their city. This pressure also affects other cities within 9 tiles, but is 10% less effective per tile. It will be easier to maintain loyalty in your cities and challenge the loyalty of nearby foreign cities. You may make a dedication which will provide a powerful gameplay bonus during this age. Let me look at what we have. Free inquiry. Eureka's provide an additional 10% of technology costs. Commercial hub and opera districts gold adjacency bonus provide science as well. Pen, brush, and voice. Inspirations provide an additional 10% of civic costs. Each city receives 1 culture for each specialty district. Monumentality. Movement for all builders. 2 plus. May purchase civilian units with faith. Builders and settlers are 30% cheaper to purchase with faith and gold. And then Exodus of the Evangelist, 2 plus movement for all missionaries, apostles, and inquisitors. Additionally, newly trained ones get 2 charges for great profit points. So I'm going to actually do monumentality. That is my thing, and that is going to be the end of this second video for the day, for Monday. Maybe tomorrow I'll do some more and kind of just have them uploading constantly. But for now, I'm going to call it an evening for Civilization on Monday, and hopefully maybe by Thursday or Friday you'll see this, anyone who views it, and I'll be grateful for that. So this is where we stand, at least for now. We stand at 125 AD on turn 120 of 500. I am researching construction. I'm 1 turn away from completing civil service. Zanzibar has a governor there with Saladin. And I have just founded Bristol, and I have 5 cities. So that is where we stand. Once again, I appreciate whoever views this. Please leave comments, any questions, anything that I could research or delve into a little more. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much.